Hey guys, it's time for MVP to see if he can pull off the near reverse all kill. He's the last player right now.
Yeah, MVP now has to defeat MVP.
Yeah. It's an ironic situation for him. Finds himself standing, well, sitting in this case, in the booth, looking across, having to defeat 4 players in order to take the
if you
spot.
Look at it like that, you actually have now a situation where MVP has to defeat himself.
Basically.
That happened in Prince of Persia. That was the hardest fight ever. Did you play that game?
No, actually, but
That was before your time.
No, it was out, but I just didn't have
the first part. No
not the
way.
First Prince of Persia. I like
I'm talking
Sands of Time. Like I don't know.
No. I'm talking about the original. Okay, you had to actually face a mirror image of yourself. You needed to jump through a mirror in order to get to the next level, and then suddenly your mirror image runs in the opposite direction. Later on, you have to face it, and then every time you fight and you hit it, you also lose hit points. So it's like, how am I going to defeat that? Know the answer?
You kill yourself.
No, you don't kill yourself.
Just
put the sword away and you walk and you're reunited with yourself.
Okay.
So that's kind of what MVP has to do right now.
Well, if he does that, that'd be really weird.
I don't know how that would work. He suddenly stands up in the middle of the game, walks over to Tails and starts hugging him.
He just like looks up and then like suddenly he splits into like 12 different people and they're all like the same members of MVP and they all like 24 of them walk in. I'm like, guys, who advances today? I'm like, what happens now?
He could sit down on the MVP bench. Would that solve the problem?
Maybe. It would solve the problem for MVP though.
For which one?
Well, for the team.
Well, the map is... I actually don't know. Let me see.
Whirlwind.
Oh, Whirlwind. Okay, Whirlwind in a Protoss versus Terran. MVP is the last man standing. The last hope for humanity.
I think that, you know, it's hard to say, like, can he actually beat 4 of them? That's going to be so hard. But we saw Leenock yesterday come out with quite a amount of success.
It was kind of the same situation.
Yes, it's basically the same situation we've got here. I think it may be possible. I'm curious to see what sort of builds it's going to show. The choosing the map Whirlwind is something I definitely did not expect.
One thing that I want to throw in here, guys, while we have the 2 players that are playing the next match on screen, is that we have another update from the Code A qualifier. Jungbi qualified for the next season of Code A, which is really exciting to me.
Do you know who he qualified over, actually?
No, I actually don't know. I talked to him a lot at the last Code A qualifier with Hyun translating for us. It was pretty cool. But yeah, he qualified for the next season of Code A.
That's really exciting. And,
well, the guy to the left is also in Code A right now. He dropped out of Code S, so MVP can prove himself in the GSTL in this match against Team MVP. And he has to. He is the last man standing for his team. Tails, on the other hand, has already 3 kills. If he can take down another player, then MVP will advance to the semifinal.
Just gotta do it. MVP take 1 win. Can Tails do it? Can he close things out here? He's beaten 1 player of every race. Will he beat his second Terran opponent? A near 5-time GSL champion.
This is going to be such an exciting game here. MVP, is he ready? The map is Whirlwind. The game about to start here at the GSTL LGIM on the last leg up against Team MVP. At the bottom right of Whirlwind, we have a 4-times champion who was so close getting a 5th title, but then, well, life happened. He is, of course, the last man for Team LGIM. It is...
LGIM MVP!
You know, there's this saying, life is what happens while you're making other plans.
Yeah.
That was actually so true for these finals.
That's certainly the case.
I feel like MVP already had the winning ceremony completely mapped out, and then it was this young Zerg player who got in his way. Well, today he's not facing a Zerg opponent, he's facing a Protoss. At the top left of Whirlwind, we have cross-positioned to MVP, a player for Team MVP. He took down Yonghwa, Yoda, and Lucira. He is...
MVP, Tails!
Not Sonic the Hedgehog. but instead his partner.
Gas first for MVP.
Yeah.
Straight into Refinery on a huge map where a lot of players really expand fast instead of going for a tech build.
Maybe Hellion Marauder is in our future.
MVP...
You know, Tails had 5 minutes to come up with a strategy to beat MVP on this map, and maybe he's done it.
He actually talked to his team members the entire time. I came back from the backstage area and just saw him trying to go over the next match that he has to play. MVP, on the other hand, if you just look at his recent match history, the only Protoss that he was able to defeat was actually JYP. He lost to Rain, he lost to Creator, he lost to Parting. So this matchup is still one way he's quite strong. I mean, we are talking about MVP here, but recently he has been struggling a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He didn't even look like, when he beat Rain in the GSL semifinals, he didn't even look that dominant in the matchup at that time. It's interesting to me that we have a double gas build for Tails on a map of this size, which kind of indicates that he's willing to say MVP might do something weird. I also want to be prepared. I want to have my tech up as soon as possible. Neither player actually scouting with the worker.
Yeah.
They don't even know positions.
Not a single scout out just yet. MVP, on the other hand, with a factory now building. But yeah, this is definitely a game that could be weird by both of them. With the double gas that we already have for Tails, he's like the build master. He's the one guy who will always come up with a build. He's really good friends with Naniwa. They talked a lot about matches, especially when Naniwa was in Code S and had to prepare. They talked about strategies, about openings, about different builds. Met up quite often, and now Tails is able to shine. He is taking down 3 players, and if he is able to defeat MVP 2, then he will have won the team match for his team. Opening now with robotics.
Yeah, really fast robo, which is kind of weird for this map. He's not doing a 4 gateway push with the Warp Prisms. Does not have any chrono energy. He's been chrono boosting his units and not the Cyber Core. Looks like he just wants to have a fast observer out then to get Immortals out to defend. But this type of fast robo is actually really the last thing you want against what MVP is sending out here. He's going to be doing a very fast Hellion pressure with that drop. This build is basically guaranteed to damage, no matter what.
Yeah, the thing is also, usually on this map you see just expansions so early, because it's a huge map, it's a 4-player map, but both players decide to not go for an expand. We have the Warp Prism now for Tails. Is this gonna be like just going for a 4-gate with Warp Prism? 2 additional gates?
3 gates in total, yeah.
Putting up aggression and apparently just trying to get into the main base.
On this map, you can do a lot of stuff with this, because the map is so big that you can afford to get your economy up and get that extra gas mining, and then your Warp Prism is going to line up with the Warp Gate research because the rush distance is so far. But a big problem for Tails is going to be that if he's out of position when the Hellions get into his main, he's going to feel the hurt, because even though he's got the Warp Prism, he can't warp in units if he doesn't have money mining at home to warp them in with.
If these Hellions go... Oh, wow, the Sentry is actually on the move now, so if the Hellions decide to go, then there is nothing that can prevent him from getting into the base. And there's also, of course, the Medivac that can elevator. 3 gates in the main base, the Warp Gates will be ready soon. The Hellions are on their way, aren't they? Medivac is now trying to get in here. Oh, but the Sentry sees it. No! Oh, wow, that was so close. He must have seen it.
He must have seen it. And this is going to make it so that he uses his Immortal, starts another Immortal. He can warp in his next round units at home. And he warped in 3 Zealots to go for this drop. And this is actually...
Oh my god, this is beautiful. He doesn't see anything here. The Hellions get in. We have additional pilots trying to wall off, but there was a gap and he's using it.
Yeah, he grabs his Hellions right away, but several probes go down during the process.
He takes down 9 of them.
Let's see how many Tails can kill. He's going to fly right over that wall.
Oh, the second wave of Hellion gets in, and he takes down
MVP
another
is in trouble, though, because this is not a force that's going to kill SCVs. This is a force that can just kill everything if he warps in more units here. Nice micro by the tank, though.
Yeah, he has the tank. He needs to repair it with a few of his SCVs, but he doesn't do it, and the rest of the Stalkers that have just been warped in take down the siege tank, and now it comes down to the micro.
Yeah. See, now he's got a warp-in point. This is scarier than Hellions, because these units kill attacking units and workers. And has Tails chosen the right build? Again, man, it's starting to look like it may be the case.
It certainly does. The Harvester count is now 21.
He's trying out the Prism. He wants it, but he can't have it.
But Tails only has 10 Harvesters. Is this really enough to sustain this army? It doesn't really look like it. He needs to pick up and he needs to get the Stalkers out of here, but he's so low in economy. He only has 10 workers.
Oh, he's got more units coming across the map, including his Immortals, and this is the scary part. You know, the Warp Prism was the beginning of killing the army, and this is maybe the end. He's going to go right over that wall with some of his Zealots, or actually those are Stalkers in that Warp Prism.
But here comes the Immortal, and the Immortal is going to be so important against the Siege Tank and of course against the wall.
Yeah. And the depot will fall. He pulls back for a little bit here. He has a little bit more money for Warpins. He can get only Zealots here.
Tails knows that he has to win this now. He doesn't have the economy. He's not even building probes. He's going in there. Immortal is about to die though, nearly being killed by an SCV, but here comes the rest of the Stalkers.
If he gets just one shot up on the Siege Tank, it'll be worth it. He needs to target it.
Oh, he doesn't kill the Siege Tank. He doesn't get close enough.
But
now the Stalkers get in.
And this
oh
is
my
gonna be
god.
it. I think he's done it. I think Tails has done it.
Look at that. It's 16 supply for MVP, and Tails is at 32. He's taking down everything. GG.
GG. What a build.
You gotta be kidding me.
Tails, man, he just demolished 4 players with a strategy for each one on each map. The most straight up game we saw from him was against Lucira.
Oh my god. Tails has done it. He defeated Yonghwa, Yoda, Lucira, and MVP.
And
the army was the problem for the Terran player.
This player, these strategies would never get you to a Code S finals, but they certainly can stop a bunch of Code S champions.
It is the LGIM curse in Team League. For some reason, they just always lose. The season started so promising with Yonghwa taking down 2 teams single-handedly, all killing them. But in this game, suddenly, we had Tails he was down to 10 Harvesters, but he had the better army.
Yeah.
He had the better army, and he had the Immortal. That was so important. Even though he lost it later on, with the Immortal, he was able to bust through the wall.
Yeah, without that Immortal, he wouldn't be able to break through the wall. He would have had to try to elevate it or something like that. It would not have worked as easily for him.
It was really astonishing how many Harvesters MVP could kill. It was actually beautiful if you think about it. He had 3 Hellions that went in, then he had, from both angles, 3 Hellions, and they took down so many Harvesters. Tails was kind of dead in economy, but he had the army.
The way he set this build up, I feel like he knew that MVP was going to do that Hellion build. It's crazy. Let's take a look at some of our results, of course. You can see how Group A and B finish up here. And EpicSo took out Prime yesterday, MVP taking out IM 5-1, and now those 2 teams will join the semifinals.
Yeah. The GSTL season is just getting better and better. LGIM last season already, we talked about how strong the lineup is, but then they fell short. They didn't even reach the semis. This season, it's a little bit of the same story. We have so many champions on this team. It was one of the teams that everyone expected to go to the finals. I thought that we would see StarTale against LGIM in the GSTL finals, but now look at it. They don't even reach the semis here.
That was a pretty dominating score we just saw.
Yeah.
Tails just dismantling everybody with awesome builds. He's one of the most valuable players you could ever have in a team league.
And also think about it, LGIM, the last time that they played, they had to face StarTale. They were all killed by a parting.
Yes.
And now they only have 1 point. The only player who won for them today was Yoda. That's the only player who was able to get one win.
Yeah. That's a rough road that they have to I mean, the road ends for them here, actually. That's really how it is.
We didn't even see Sniper. We didn't see DRG. We didn't see Keen. No, it's only Tails. Tails and Monster.
And that's it.
That's all that
That's all they needed. And it was a great showing that they showed. Tails just having every build order required.
Personally, my favorite game of Tails was still the game that he played against Yonghwa. This snipe, so crisp, so good. The build that he used with the 5 gateways.
That was just like sick.
That was art. That was art.
No one's seen that build before. It's never been used. That's why he flew the Phoenixes and he was like, what happened to me just now? How did this actually work?
Yeah.
He has all these units and
he knew that it was over.
Vision? Like,
exactly.
How does this work?
Yonghwa knew it was over, but he used his Phoenixes to scout the main base of Tails at the end before he left the game because he wanted to know, okay, what exactly just happened?
Yeah.
Tails, man. That was impressive. That was really, really impressive. This guy.
That was sick, and that's how it is. I really want to see what he has to say in the interview, if he's got any interesting insights he's got to say. I mean, the build in the last game was awesome as well. It really felt like he knew exactly what was going to happen.
Well, and here we go. The MVP for Team MVP, of course, being Tails.
김원영 선수입니다. 축하드려요.
안녕하세요.
왜 갑자기 인사하세요? 아유 귀여우세요. 네, 팀을요 상황이 올리는데 굉장히 큰 역할을 하신 것 같은데요, 그렇죠?
Man, this guy so strong today, definitely on a roll, a lot of momentum going for him. takes down the entire LGIM team, a team of champions, but he was just too strong. Well, Tails just said that it's been a really, really long time since he last received the MVP award in the GSTL, and he wasn't really performing that well recently, so he's really happy that he could show his skills today.
이번에도 팀을 우승을 이끄는데 좋은 역할을 하셔야겠죠.
제가 성적이 나오면은 분명히 팀원들도 다 잘해서 연습 상대가 좋아가지고 잘 나오는 거라고 생각해요. 그래서 우승한 것 같아요.
They're very, very strong team and members, and
지금 분위기도 좋고 우리 팀이 우승할 것 같아요.
그렇군요.
If they actually all perform really well, and especially like him now, they will have a much easier time this time to advance not only to the semifinals but to reach the finals as well.
한강호 선수를 이겼을 때 제가 처음에 쇼부인 줄 알고 캐논도 많이 받고 제가 준비한 전략도
When he played Lucira today, he was really worried because that there might be an early attack of Lucira, so that was the reason why he built so many cannons, and he was down in the game, which is the reason when he was really happy that he was able to come back into the game because he was already behind. This is the situation we talked about when Lucira just threw his units away at third base. It was really a little bit odd. But well played by Tails. I mean, the micro that he showed when he attacked the fourth was really nice. Won the game and then continued to take down MVP. He actually thinks that he is a little bit weak in the macro. He's been practicing quite a lot and is focusing right now on playing the macro games. But he has a lot of strategies, a lot of good strategies, and that will help him in his future and in future games.
I actually like that he says that because I know sometimes he misses his pylons and things like that in some of his games, but his strategies are good, but he's trying to focus on his macro so he can be good in both aspects. I really, really like that.
That's also the weakness that Naniwa pointed out time and time again with Tails. He says his builds are awesome, but it's just the execution that he sometimes lacks.
네, 제가 4강전도 많은 팬들이 다 아마
The last time that they actually defeated LGIM, they advanced to the finals and took the whole season. So he says this season is a little bit of the similar situation where they now take down LGIM, they advance to the semifinals, so he thinks it's like a good omen and that they will be able to take the title this season.
예, 지난주에 같이 못 있어서 선수들한테도 좀 미안했는데
really happy.
승리까지 해주니까 너무 고맙네요.
Last week, I was a little bit sorry to my teammates because I wasn't able to come. It was in China. I'm very proud of my team, and that Killer was able to come through, come in as a player coach for me.
가셔야겠죠.
예, 저희가 4번 중에 2번은 결승을 갔었거든요. 근데 이번 시즌만큼 더 간절함이 클 데가 없었던 것 같아요. 그리고 지금 현재 선수들이 워낙 잘해주고 있기 때문에 이번 시즌 좋은 결과 있을 것 같습니다.
This season feels very special for them. It's the last season. I really want to go to the finals again.
좀 심심해하진 않으신가요?
수호 언제나 든든하게 대장 자리를 준비하고 있고요. 오늘도 마지막 세트 준비하고 있었고요. 하지만 그 전에 뭐 현승이라든지
was preparing to come out as the final player, but Monster and Tails and Sniper were going to be the 3 players to come out first.
그 전에
And DRG actually knew already that he might not come out today.
그렇군요. 자, 마지막으로 우리 4강전 강팀이죠. 우리 TSL에게 한 말씀 해주시죠.
TSL은 워낙 저그가 강한 팀입니다. 저희 팀도 저그
Playing against TSL next, there's a lot of Zergs on TSL.
준비만 잘 한다면 좋은 경기.
Team MVP also has good Zerg players, however, so if we can prepare well, we should be able to take the match.
마지막으로 진출한 MVP 팀 만나봤습니다. 저는요 4강전 다시 오도록 하겠습니다. 우리 김익근 캐스터.
So that result was I think a little bit more one-sided than people would have thought, but it was more so about Tails' builders than anything in this match.
With how the game started, or the day started, I actually thought we would have a much closer match. The first one we had like Monster defeating Seed, then suddenly Monster being defeated by Yonghwa, and the other way around, Tails taking the win. So it looked like it's going to be this back and forth match, but in the end it's just Tails who completely stomped the LGIM game.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our semifinals so you guys can see who's going to be there. TSL, of course, as mentioned, will play MVP first, and then on the following Saturday, there will be StarTale against Epix Open, so 2 of these teams will go to the finals. It may be TSL's first time in the finals if they can take out MVP here.
Yeah.
Every other team has been to the finals before or won a finals.
That could be, I mean, the semifinals already are going to be so exciting, and I can't wait to see which teams are going to advance to the final match. That's going to be so cool. FXO might have actually been in a position where they can defend their title. Yep. If they're able to take down StarTail, which is definitely not an easy challenge.
Yeah, yesterday they looked so down, and Leonok was able to come through and get them through there. It looked like, you know, the defending champions were going to be out, and Leonok said no. Brought them back in here. So that's going to be sick when we see that, the round of 4 coming up in just 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, guys, that's it for today. So the match is over, and, well, definitely make sure that you tune in the next time. There we already have the information about Code S, which starts again next week with a round of 16. And, yeah, I guess that's it for today. So definitely make sure, at the two of us on Twitter, at ProxyWolf, myself, at Kaldor, at GOMTV, and tune in next time at the GSTL, and, of course, also for Code S. See you soon.